Okay, so I've made all the purchases I wanted to make off screen there, and I'll start with Shepard, who, if she can never turn around, there we go. I'll start with Shepard because I actually got her the Predator 4 armor. I had enough money after I melted down all of my stuff and sold all of my stuff to purchase Predator 4, which was in the shop. Basically, it's kind of like the Scorpion armor. It has the same stats as Scorpion 4, but it's more of a limited edition armor, according to the shop. So I was like, ooh, limited edition, let's try that. And then I got it, and it's basically the Scorpion armor, except it's black and white and gray instead of, having the dirty camo colors, I guess you would call it. I don't know what you'd call it. But I got a Predator 4. I passed Scorpion 1 down to Caden, as we'll see shortly. And I actually kept Liberator 3 for Ashley because she's wearing heavy armor right now, a different one, and I'll show you which one that is when we get to her. But I want to keep Liberator 3 in case I come across a planet where I have a hazard. So that way, if I have a hazard, I can have her put on Liberator 3, and then we'll be perfectly fine. We don't have to worry about like a heat hazard or another toxic hazard becoming a problem. So that's how that works. As for Shepard's weapon, obviously still on Stinger 2, because it's the best gun in the game right now. I kept Striker 2 for later. I'm going to use it if I don't find a better pistol for another party member that we'll be getting later on. But I didn't keep really much of anything else. So actually, while I'm here, why don't I put that high explosive that I got on there? Yeah, much better than the other one. I don't like putting any grenade upgrades on the grenades other than high explosive, though, because the rest of them really aren't that useful, I find. Like, high explosive just creates a larger impact radius, it knocks them on their ass more, and it does more damage, so it does everything that a grenade is supposed to do, except it makes it do it better, so like, why not, So I figured while I was there I'd do that. The Cypher tool that I got, it wasn't that great. It gave 15 shield bonus, and then 0 tech cooldown and 0 med recharge. Most of the time when I equip Shepard with any tools or amps, I'm going to be focusing on cooldown rather than everything else, because while having more power on my biotic and tech abilities is good, and while having good duration and shields is good, if you can spam abilities faster with the Sentinel, you should. So that's how I'm going to handle Shepard basically from then on. And also I leveled up from that Prothean artifact back on Elatania, so I just leveled up Charm all the way to the maximum of where it can be right now, and I leveled up Spectre Training once again. Trying to get Spectre Training to Unity, which we can get next level, and then once we get Unity, I'll start working on Throw and Barrier, I think. Maybe I'll work on First Aid a little. Maybe I'll work on Throw, Barrier, First Aid, and Spectre Training, so that way I can get up to Advanced Unity. That would be good. Because normal Unity, 15% health and 40% shields is alright, but it's not great. If you don't have Metagel immediately ready afterwards, they're probably just going to get shot a couple of times and die, so like you got to be careful about that sort of stuff. Anyway, now to the party members. So we've got Tali first. She's still sitting there with Hydra 1 because I haven't found any new Corian armor for her. We'll find some eventually, and if I have to, when I go back to the Citadel after Feros, I'll buy her some. I think they have like Phoenix Corian armor available for her there at a couple of vendors, which is a really good set of armor for her. But we'll get to that later. So there's that. I switched her to the Striker 2 pistol because it's the most accurate one I have right now, and with Tali and Caden, that's mostly what I want is accuracy. And I gave her chemical rounds that way, because chemical rounds do toxic damage. Poison is really good in the early parts of the game because it works on synthetics and organics, and it just does passive damage. So if they get knocked down due to throw, or if they get sabotaged or anything like that, they're basically just standing there while I shoot them with rounds coated with poison, and then they just take passive damage while they can't really do much. So I like chemical rounds early in the game. Later on, it's not as useful because the enemies have so much health that it doesn't really matter that you're doing toxic damage to them. Although I think it goes through the effects of immunity, if I remember right, but I'm not 100% sure on that, so we'll figure that out as the game goes. But yeah, nothing new on Tali. Her Omni tool is the same because, like I said, the Cypher tool that I got wasn't that great. Rex is Rex. He is the same crazy-ass Krogan that he always was. I switched his upgrade on his armor, though. I switched it to Shield Regenerator 2. Because while you have a barrier up, I'm pretty sure your shields actually regenerate while your barriers are up. I'm not sure if that's just with the barrier upgrade that I can get, Shepard can get later in the game, but I know that his shields will recover quicker if I have Shield Regenerator on, and it's better than First Aid Interface for him because he already has like 4 health a second that he gets from the his passive ability, so he doesn't really need health interface. So the shield regenerator is there for that. It'd also be good if he gets hit by sabotage or overload, so that'll be good. Nothing really new on the assault rifle. I got a max accuracy upgrade, improved sighting, so I stuck that on there for him. And then the chemical rounds are there again because passive damage is good. I gave him a combat sensor on his shotgun, mostly just because of the fact that Rex is going to be in my party a lot, so I figured if I'm going to put his combat sensor on anybody other than me, it can be him. And this way we can see if the combat sensors actually stack, because I already have one on Shepard's pistol, so I don't know if they stack yet or not, but we'll see. And then hammerhead rounds because it's a shotgun, so, you know, I was saying before, you know, it would be better if I had them taking passive damage while they're on their ass on the ground from being shot by the shotgun, but hammerhead rounds will cause them to be on the ground more, and since I have chemical rounds anyway, if they get shot down on the ground by Rex here, then I can shoot them with the chemical rounds and they'll still be taking the damage, so that's how that goes. His amp is the same and his armor is the same. Excuse me. Again, if we don't get any armor for Tali, Rex, or Garrus, I will go back to the Citadel and buy some after the mission on Feros. So, Garrus is relatively the same, although you will notice that his armor has a new upgrade on it. Shield Battery 3. I think I got that on Elitania. And it gives him 50 extra shields, which he really, really needs in order to not die here. Because he just dies way too quickly in the early game because he has no shields on his armor, and that just makes it really hard to actually use him very well. But the sniper rifle, I've got Hammer 2. I think I equipped that from whatever he had before. I think it was Avenger 1 before, which was really bad for him. And Avenger 2 on here, I've got him mostly with synthetic round stuff. Gave him extra stability on the hammer, so that way he can hit things more frequently. Excuse me, with the sniper rifle. Oh god. So yeah, basically the same as he was, just switch the upgrades a little bit. Caden, I think, is still on the Striker 2. Yeah, he's got anti-personnel rounds there for organic damage, because he's mostly going to be good against organics, although he does have sabotage and overload for that. I passed down Scorpion 1 to him. Now don't ask me how that works. I don't know how that would technically work, because it was female armor before, now it's male armor. I don't know, maybe we just got this from the stock, our stock hold or whatever, I don't know. But passed it down to him from Shepard because she had it and now she doesn't need it. And that way I don't have to buy Scorpion 4 from the shop yet. I don't even know if I have enough credits for that. Maybe I do. But anyway, Ashley, as you can see, is wearing some very some heavier armor, I guess you could say. So she's got the Avenger 2. I put radioactive rounds on there just because I didn't really have anything better to put on there, and I want to see if the cooldown reduction stacks when she shoots things with her assault rifle, especially with overkill. Like, if she shoots something that uses a lot of biotic or tech abilities with overkill active and it stacks the cooldown reduction, basically they can't use their abilities again until they're dead. So I gotta figure, if it works the way I hope it works, it's going to work really, really well, and it's going to work in my favor. And then still got the phasing rounds on her because, I don't know, just because shield bypass and damage, you know. But yeah, I've got Liberator 3 there for her just in case she needs it, but I actually got the Duelist 2 armor. I think in the mission I got it, and it's really good. It's got really good shields and damage protection for her, and I put shock absorbers on her, so that way she has a little bit of protection from biotic attacks. So she's going to be a powerhouse, basically, for a pretty long time now. I'm taking her with me on most of the missions from now on, especially the main missions on the planets, until my, other crew members, like Rex and Garrus and Tali, start getting better armor, which they don't yet. The humans mostly get the better armor early in the game, unless you get really lucky, and then you buy better armor for the alien races, quote unquote, and then they get better. So that's how that works. Now I need to check if the crew's actually going to say anything, so I'll be right back if they don't say anything, and if they do say something, then we'll keep this going. I'll take a drink before I start, though. There we go. Now, Chief Williams, anything to say?
Commander?
What's your opinion of the last mission?
This is just the kind of wish you got there sooner thing.
No offense. I appreciate the
Save
rescue.
your unit. Yep, this
You
was...
wish we'd been able to save
Yes,
the rest.
If I had been more alert, we wouldn't have been
We've
cut
already
down
been
by
through
the
this.
That's a perfect ambush.
Yeah, flashlight heads,
I'll
ma'am.
make sure
Yeah,
it
I know.
doesn't happen again.
Do you want to talk now?
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
Sure.
Here we
I
go.
was hoping
Okay,
to
she
get
does
a
have
bit of your
something new to
time
say.
Off the record.
Well, yeah, I mean, I keep an open policy, so.
I keep an open door policy. If you have any concerns, lay them on me.
All right. I know things are different aboard the Normandy, but I'm concerned about the aliens, Vicarian and Rex. With all due respect, Commander, should they have full access to the ship?
I wonder why she didn't mention Tali. Are you worried because they're not a part of the Human Alliance, or?
They may not serve the Alliance, Chief, but they're allies. At least as far as Saren goes.
This is the most advanced ship in the Alliance Navy. I don't think we should give them free rein to poke around the vital systems. Engines, sensors, weapons.
I mean, I'll tell you the same thing that I told Navigator Presley. This isn't just a human vessel. It was human and Turian in its design and its construction. So I feel like, especially Garrus, has just as much right as everybody else to poke around in this. But where's this coming from exactly, Chief? Speak freely.
You don't trust the Alliance's allies?
I'm not sure I'd call the Council races allies. We, humanity, I mean, have to learn to rely on ourselves.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's good to be able to rely on your own, your own merits, but you need allies in order to keep you, going along strong.
Standing up for ourselves doesn't mean standing alone.
I don't think we should turn down allies. I just think we shouldn't bet everything on them staying allies. As noble as the council members seem now, if their backs are against the wall, they'll abandon us.
I don't know if that's entirely true.
I don't see that as inevitable.
Look, if you're fighting a bear and the only way for you to survive is to sick your dog on it and run, you'll do it. As much as you love your dog, it isn't human.
The dog has less meat
It's
on it
not
there, Chief.
racism, not really. Members of their species will always be more important to them than humans are.
So the bear would go after us because we are, in fact, there's more meat pound for pound than there is on a dog. And a dog can bite them. What can a human do to a bear? Punch it in the face? Like, I've seen this. There was a show on TV, I forget what channel it was on, where a guy got stuck in a tree and Black Bear cornered him, and his dog basically kept the bear at bay for a while he was stuck up in the tree until he was rescued. And you don't sick your dog and run, because then the bear runs after you. So, like, you gotta be careful. But, I mean, that's not really important here. This is more about the aliens that are aboard the ship. Is this I don't want to say it's xenophobia, but it feels like feel pretty strongly about this.
These seem like deeply held beliefs, Williams. What made you think this way?
My family's defended the Alliance since it was founded. My father, grandfather, great-grandmother, they all picked up a rifle and swore the oath of service. I guess we just tend to think of Earth's interests as our own.
Well, I mean, that's understandable, but you gotta think of everybody else's interests, too. This isn't just an Alliance mission anymore, But let me hear about your family a little bit more.
I never knew my family. Grew up an orphan on Earth. Anybody in your family I'd have heard of?
Couldn't say, Commander. So why are you out here? Just trying to get away from Earth?
Be honest with you.
No. The future of humanity is out here. There's so much we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. I still remember my first field exercise on Titan. When we hit mud, the reality hit me. I'm the first person who ever stood here. Then my drill instructor kicked me in the ass. I went face first into the muck. He spent the next 5 minutes chewing me out for gold bricking.
Oh, you don't mean...
Don't tell me you had Gunny Ellison. He's the only one who uses that word to describe shirking duty.
Oh, Lord. You went to the Makapog boot camp, too?
Yeah, 6 months in heat.
Gunny Ellison's still reaming out recruits down there. Kicking ass and using words like inveigle and pusillanimous.
Oh, my God. That asshole is still there. Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. Gunny Ellison. He was a crazy guy. Anyway, so you came from a military background. What inspired you to want to continue the trend?
It doesn't sound like you've worked with aliens before.
Or I could ask about
No,
your
ma'am.
xenophobia.
Mainly I've been groundside, part of the surface garrison forces. I did get a rotation on a space station for training. Every Marine a rifleman, every rifleman ZG certified.
Only one, though?
That's odd. Your record is spotless and your technical scores are exemplary. You should be serving with the fleet.
Anyway, that's why I haven't served with many aliens, Commander.
Okay, well, I won't pry. I mean, it's still weird, but maybe I can ask her later. I understand where you're coming from, though, Chief, but it's not really something that's under my control anymore.
Alright, I can see where your concerns are coming from, Williams. But this is a multilateral mission. You're gonna have to work with aliens, like it or not.
It won't be a problem, Commander. You say jump, I say how high. You tell me to kiss a Turian, I'll ask which cheek.
I don't think that'll be necessary.
I don't think kissing Turians will be necessary.
You never know, Commander.
What is that implying, exactly? Whatever.
Dismissed, Chief.
Ma'am.
Are they trying to foreshadow something in the second game? It's distinctly possible. Whatever. Let's talk to Rex. He's always a blast to talk to.
We've got Saren on the run.
We have already talked about all these. Yes, we do.
It won't be long now. Saren's good, but I'm better.
Good. He's rotten. To the core.
I didn't mean morality-wise.
I could tell as soon as I met him.
Wait, hold on.
Why didn't you tell me this sooner?
I would have if I thought it was important.
I mean, I guess you meeting him wasn't necessarily important, unless he was on some sort of crazy mission, but I don't know. Keep going if you want.
I think I'd like to hear about it just the same.
This was a while ago. A bunch of mercs were bragging about a job out near the edges of the Terminus systems. They said it paid well and the boss was never around to ride them. They said he was looking for more men, too. So I checked it out.
Sounds like a decent gig, although Saren was the boss around there?
I didn't know Saren was openly recruiting mercs.
It wasn't that open, and he only showed his face once. We'd been raiding ships in the area for months when we took out this massive cargo freighter. Our biggest haul yet. I was on board checking bodies for valuables, looking for some extra credits. That's when I saw him.
So he was on board with you. Must have thought that freighter was pretty important. Was he doing anything suspicious?
What did Saren want with the ship?
I don't know what he wanted. He was just moving through the ship, watching. A couple of the mercs called him by name, but he never spoke to them. Never spoke to anyone. I had a really bad feeling about him, so I got the hell out. Didn't even wait to get paid.
Wow. For a Krogan to have that kind of a feeling and get out, that must have been a pretty big deal. So tell me about this ship.
Whose ship was it?
There was a Volus trading vessel. Big one. Lots of guards. But they were no match for us.
And they had a lot of guards because they had a particularly valuable set of cargo then?
What kind of cargo was the freighter carrying? What was Saren after?
I don't know. All I saw on that ship was food and medical supplies. There were some basic weapons, but nothing big. If there was anything of value on that ship, I didn't see it. That's why I didn't mention it sooner.
Oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. Probably Saren must have... I would say he snatched it up before you guys got to it, but you were there pretty much when he was, so that doesn't make much sense. So that's all that happened there?
That's the only time you saw him?
Yeah. Didn't even know who he was. Still wouldn't if I hadn't joined up with you. But my instincts were right. Every other merc on that mission turned up dead within a week. Every damn one.
Holy crap. Well, yeah, good eye on that one, Rex. Kind of glad that you made it out, because you wouldn't be here if you ended up dead with them.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
He's always fun for a story. Anyway, Mr. Vicarian, how's the Mako doing?
Commander, how are you?
Question about your dealings with C-Sec in previous times. Really, I guess I would ask, do they have any better armor than just the stuff that you have right now, but I don't think that's pertinent.
Why did you want to be a C-Sec officer in the first place?
That's a good question. There were several reasons, I guess.
And do you care to elaborate, or?
Like what?
Probably the same as most officers. I wanted to fight injustice, wanted to help people. I guess my father had something to do with it too. He was CSEC, one of the best. I grew up hearing about his accomplishments or seeing his picture on the vids after a big arrest. He's taking my resignation pretty hard.
Yeah, that'd be kind of hard to... I mean, what we do is pretty much classified, so he probably wouldn't be getting much information from us about what you're doing, so I guess I can understand where he's coming from.
That's tough. But you'd think he'd be impressed you're going after Saren.
My father's a CSEC man to the bone. Do things right or don't do them at all, he says. He thinks I'm being too rash, too impatient. He's worried I'll become just like Saren.
Well, then prove him wrong.
He actually talked me out of becoming a Spectre when I was younger, for the same reasons.
Well, wait, hold on. Back up a little bit, Mr. Vicarian.
You were asked to be a Spectre.
Well, I was targeted as a possible Spectre candidate. Me and about 1,000 other Turian military recruits. I could have received special training, but my father didn't like it. He despises the Spectres. He hates the idea of someone having unlimited power with no accountability. He wouldn't like you, Commander. No offense.
Well, no, I mean, I am in the position that he hates the most. I'm going to try not to let him down because I'm going to try to do things as by the book as I can, but...
I suppose I can understand his concern.
You can.
Yeah, actually.
But Saren's not going to play by our rules, CSEC's rules. If you want to nail Saren, you need to send someone who isn't restricted by policies and procedures.
Well, I mean... Yeah, I mean, I suppose you have a point there, but just because we're unrestricted doesn't mean that we're unaccountable for this sort of stuff. Like, if anything, the guilt will get to us. Trust me, I know enough about guilt. But so yeah, it's not necessarily true.
Just because you can break the rules doesn't mean you should. I don't need to stoop to Saren's level to stop him. And neither do you, Garrus.
That's a good way to put it.
I see what you mean, but I'll think about it. Thanks, Commander.
No problem. Hello, Mr. Rec Officer. I already talked to you. I wonder if Tali's going to have anything new to say since I didn't talk to her about everything the last time. Because I wanted to save the Geth thing for when we actually have fought Geth. So, you know, figured it would be more pertinent then than it was previously.
Oh, hello, Shepard.
Anything wrong, or?
Are you okay?
I don't know. Your ship is amazing, and your crew's been really great to me. Especially your chief engineer. But I just sort of feel out of place. The Normandy runs so smooth it feels like we're not even moving. And the engines are so quiet. How do you sleep at night?
What do you mean by it's too quiet to sleep?
The silence wakes you up?
Back on the flotilla, the last thing you want to hear is silence. It means an engine's died or an air filter shut down.
Oh, okay, I see.
I guess you don't have to worry about that here. But old habits die hard.
Mm-hmm. Understandable.
But it's more than just the silence. This ship feels so empty. It's like half the crew is missing. Back home, I couldn't wait to go on my pilgrimage. I couldn't wait to get away from the crowds. Now that I'm out here, I kind of miss them.
Well, that's, you know, it happens to the best of us. It's just homesickness.
Sometimes we don't appreciate what we have till it's gone.
That's true. I'm starting to wonder if that's what the pilgrimage is really about. It's given me a whole new perspective on my people and our culture.
Well, good.
You know, there's always a few who go on their pilgrimages and never return. I always assumed something bad happened to them. But maybe they just wanted a different life.
I mean, that's possible. But would I ask her if she's going back? Yeah, I guess I would. Do you want a different life, or do you want to go back to the fleet? Like, I mean, this is your choice, but you seem like the type who would want to go back.
You do plan to return to the migrant fleet, right?
I could never abandon my people, Shepard. I will go back eventually, but we have to stop Saren first. Otherwise, I might not have a home to go back to.
Yeah, that's a good point. Speaking of your home, and I didn't want to bring this up before, but we did just encounter Geth, so do you have any extra knowledge about them? I've asked around, but most people have just told me, what they teach humans in school about them, which is nothing really advanced or high level. So, what do you know about the Geth?
I want to know more about the Geth.
I doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost 3 centuries since they drove my people into exile. All I know is the story of their origins. What they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
Well, that's more than they told me in the Alliance's schooling stuff, so let me know.
Interesting.
The Geth were originally created to serve as an automated manual labor force. Initially, their intelligence was as limited as any VI. Over time, we made small modifications to their programming to allow them to perform more varied and complex tasks, bringing them closer and closer to true AI status.
I can just imagine the Quarians tinkering these things like children almost, like just making them better and better and pushing them further and further along, just watching them develop. Of course, that means that the Council was probably on your ass about that, weren't they?
How come the Council didn't step in and stop you?
This wasn't true AI research. We may have been skirting the bounds of the law, but we never did anything that was actually illegal. The changes were so insignificant, so gradual, that we were able to control them. Or so we thought. But one thing we underestimated was the power of the neural network. 1 million Geth thinking simultaneously created an inherently unstable matrix.
So this neural network is their collective consciousness, right?
So the Geth share brain power?
Many of the Geth's logic systems were designed to work in concert with other nearby Geth. Basically, the more of them you have in a group, the smarter they are.
So, sort of like... Would we have any examples of a hive mind? I don't think we've come across anything. Are there animals on Earth that have hive mind type? So like, what do you even call a group of ants? A colony of ants?
So there's some sort of group consciousness.
No, nothing like that. They cannot share sensory data or information. Their programming cannot handle that much simultaneous input. Each Geth maintains an individual awareness and identity. The neural network only operates on a process-based level. It's basically the synthetic equivalent of a subconscious. But when they're in close proximity, they can coordinate low-level functional processes, freeing up more capacity for original or independent thought.
I don't get it, it says. So basically, like, I kind of want to try to explain this in plain English. One Geth unit, as they said in the Codex entry, has little more than an animal instinct to its functionality. Like, it has a small enough amount of processing power where it can't really function on more than basic needs by itself. But when it is connected to the neural network, the processes that all Geth have gone through, the experiences that they've gone through, are shared. Not like sensory or data information, but like, this is how you do something like this. This is how you shoot a gun. This is how you flank an enemy. It's shared amongst the Geth, and when they are close enough to each other, in a small unit, sort of like an army unit of some kind, they share those processes with one another, and they can coordinate battle plans, like the Codex entry said, in a similar way that actual people do. So they think and they react when in groups the same way that we do, but when they're by themselves, it's little more than shooting an animal, at that point. So I get it. I'm not going to say I don't get it, because Shepard is tech savvy, so what made them turn on you?
What made them rebel?
As we built more and more Geth, their effective intelligence became more sophisticated, more abstract. One day, a Geth began to ask its Quarian overseer questions about the nature of its existence. Am I alive? Why am I here? What is my purpose?
So it's self-actualized.
As you can imagine, this caused a near panic among my people.
Well, humans have never faced a situation like this, but why would that cause a panic?
I don't see what's so bad about those questions.
The Geth were created to engage in mundane, repetitive, or dangerous manual labor. That's fine for machines, but it won't satisfy a sentient being for long. The Geth were showing signs of rudimentary self-awareness and independent thought. If the Geth were intelligent, then we were essentially using them as slaves. It was inevitable the newly sentient Geth would rebel against their situation. We knew they would rise up against us, so we acted first.
By trying to kill them?
A general order went out across all Quarian-controlled systems to permanently deactivate all Geth. The Geth responded to this order violently.
Well, of course they responded to an order to shut them all down violently, like they were just trying to keep themselves alive.
Yeah, you can't blame them for fighting for their survival.
We had no other choice. The Geth were already on the verge of revolution. By acting quickly, we had a chance to end the war before it began. The hope was that most of the Geth would still be little more than machines, incapable of organized resistance. But they had progressed much further than anyone anticipated. The war was long and bloody. Millions upon millions of Quarians died at their hands. In the end, we were forced to flee our own homeworld. We feared the Geth would pursue us, but they never came beyond the Veil. Now we drift through space, exile searching for a way to reclaim what was once ours.
I'm sorry to hear that, but, like, again, you can't really blame them for fighting for their survival. Like, that's just, you know, it's something that happens, so I wonder if this defended themselves one is gonna give me the same conversation again. Let's find out. Hang on one second.
It's hard to feel sorry for you.
No, it's different.
Your ancestors tried to wipe out another species.
We made a mistake when we created the Geth in the first place. But we did not make a mistake when we went to war against them.
I don't agree with you.
If we had not acted, they would have wiped us out. They're a synthetic life form. They have no use for organics. None. Why do you think they cut themselves off from the rest of the galaxy? Why do you think they've killed every organic being who's ever tried to contact them?
Because that's all they've known. Like, after their self-actualization, the only thing that's happened to them is you going to war with them, and so that was all they knew, so they fought back, and they killed a lot of you. So, I mean, I'm sorry that this is your situation, but I don't agree with you that it was correct to go to war with them.
I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get so worked up. Most Quarians tend to have pretty strong opinions about the Geth.
Yeah, it's understandable. They drove you from your homeworld 3 centuries ago. Anybody would have a strong opinion about something like that. But I still don't agree with her logic that it was right to go to war with them. They should have, I don't know, manned up and said, okay, well, we're going to have to roll up our sleeves and get, do some manual labor here. Maybe if they had coordinated with the Geth, they would have realized that AI technology wasn't so bad. I don't know. It's a possibility, but it's food for thought. It's food for thought for the rest of the series, because that comes up a lot, so just keep that in mind.
I should go.
See you later.
That was why I didn't want to talk to her about that, because I didn't want to offend her. Although I didn't really offend her. She was just kind of stating her piece. It's a very passionate subject for most Quarians, as she stated. So. Alright, so that takes care of that. We've got one more crew member to speak to. I think we'll go talk to Joker as well, because he has some new stuff to say. Dr. Chakwas does not, so we don't really have to go talk to her yet. But yeah, we'll go talk to Caden and Joker. And then we'll do a little bit of Codex entry reading, I think. We'll do the stuff that was there before, and then we'll go from there. Actually, I might not do that today, just because I'm looking at the time now. It's quite late for me. Well, maybe not, but I don't know. I'll see once I'm done talking to Caden and Joker. It depends on how long it takes me to talk to them. Hey, Caden. What's going on?
Anything you need, Commander?
So let's see. Tactical appraisal is just what's your opinion on the last mission again. So let's just try seeing if he has any personal input now that he has had some time to think.
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I've wasted enough of your time for now, Commander. We'll have time for personal debriefings later.
Okay, fine.
We'll talk another time, Lieutenant.
Not too concerned with that for now, then. Oh, something in my locker. Nice. Lancer, Avenger, and Heatsink. There's a heatsink in there. Nice. I'll have to go and fix that off screen later, but we'll do that, like I said, later. Not too concerned with it for right now. So up to deck 1 we go. Presley doesn't have anything new to say. I'm going to check if Joker has anything new to say, but I'm not sure if he does. I mean, he usually has some new snarky comment to make about missions that you've gone on, but we haven't gone on any main missions yet, so I don't know if he'll have anything new to say or if he'll just say the same thing as before. We'll find out.
Commander, something you need?
We did nickname and disease before. We did personal history, I think. We did ship status report. I guess I just want to talk.
I like to know my crew. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
Oh, this is just gonna be the same thing as before.
Top of my class
Anyway,
in flight school.
didn't mean to insult. Let's just
Sorry,
end this.
Joker.
All right.
You mean? Okay. Put the Normandy in my hands, and I'll make her
Yep,
dance.
gotcha.
I have to
gotcha.
go.
All right,
Gotcha.
see ya.
Sorry, Joker. Didn't mean to insult you again. I already got the idea that you have Vrolic syndrome. Okay, so crew members have nothing new to say for right now. It's kind of weird that Caden doesn't have anything new to say right now when I already got Ashley's other conversation there. I don't know. I'll figure it out at some point, but maybe he's just being shy. I think he secretly has a crush on Vanessa. We'll see if that pans out at all. Anyway, Codex entries. Let's go ahead and do a couple of these while we're sitting here. Okay, so what is shared by both? We've got nothing new in Aliens Council races. We've got new and non-Council races, and that's shared. So Council and Extinct are new for the secondary. Citadel and Galactic Government is shared. Humanity and the Systems Alliance is new. Ships and Vehicles and Technology. Okay, so we'll do all of the... I'll do the secondary ones first, and then we'll come back to these ones here, and we'll get these done. Is Planets and Locations new? Yeah, it's exclusive, so we'll do... I'll do a couple secondaries, why not? And then we'll go to the primary ones after that. So, let's see, it's Council races and Extinct races, and then non-Council is shared, and so is Citadel and Galactic Government. This is exclusive, I think. Yeah, so we'll do Council and Extinct, then we'll do the shared non-Council races one, and Citadel and Galactic Government one, then I'll do Planets and Locations, and we'll do Humanity and Systems Alliance after that. Then we'll do the shared ones for Ships and Vehicles and Technology, because those are usually shared. At least if the two categories are lighting up at the same time, like in primary and secondary, it's the same category and they're lighting up. Usually they complement each other, the Codex entries that we get for them. So let's start with Aliens Council races and see what we can do. I think this is just going to talk about the Krogan, the Quarians, and the Turians, because we just talked to Tali and them. So here we go. So we didn't read the League of One thing yet, I don't think. Before they joined the Citadel Council, the Solarians' most potent military tool was a small reconnaissance team known as the League of One. So yeah, it's now defunct. I wasn't aware of that before. Their primary training was in espionage and assassination. Never more than a dozen strong, the team was adept at infiltrating the tightest defenses and eliminating all necessary obstacles. Only a few top members of government and military were privy to the League's identities. League members wore no distinguishing garments and held no particular rank. The only evidence of their participation in the League was a small medallion presented to each member upon induction. This secrecy was maintained until the formation of the Council. So basically they were like Spectres before Spectres were Spectres, if that makes any sense. In an effort to dispel rumors and appease their new Asari partners, the Solarian Union released all classified documents pertaining to the League. The League of One was suddenly exposed and in danger of being hunted by enemies of the Solarians. Before any harm could be done, the team mysteriously disappeared. Most assumed this was a convenient lie to help hide their identities, but a few months later, the inner cabinet was murdered. Well, that's not good. Though there was no incriminating evidence, it was clear who was responsible. Yeah, League of One wasn't too happy about that. Realizing the threat posed by this rogue outfit, the Special Tactics Group dispatched a team of hunters. When they didn't return, the STG dispatched 10 of its brightest operators with broad discretionary powers. Only 2 returned. They reported no evidence of the League. No further incidents were reported, and it was assumed that the League was wiped out. Some recently declassified documents, however, have suggested that there may have been a 13th member who eluded the Solarian military. And it's likely that he went around collecting all of the different medallions and then handing them to his descendants, who are now stranded on different planets, and we have to pick them up. So that's how that works. Anyway, keep going with this. While Turians are individuals with personal desires, their instinct is to equate the self with the group and set aside personal desires for the good of all. So they're a very collective society. Turians are taught to have a strong sense of personal accountability, the Turian honor that other races find so remarkable. Turians are taught to own every decision they make, good or ill. The worst sin they can make in the eyes of their people is to lie about their own actions. Turians who murder will try to get away with it, but if directly questioned, most will confess the crime. Turians have a strong inclination toward public service and self-sacrifice, so they tend to be poor entrepreneurs. To compensate, they accepted the mercantile Volus as a client race, offering protection in exchange for their fiscal expertise. The Turian military is the center of their society. It's not just an armed force, it is an all-encompassing public works organization. The military police are also the civic police. The fire brigade serves civilian population as well as the military facilities. The Corps of Engineers builds and maintains spaceports, schools, water purification plants, and power stations. The Merchant Marine ensures that all worlds get needed resources. Wow, that's a pretty invasive military strategy, but it's interesting, though. Military doctrine. Though they lack the brutality of the Krogan, the skill of the Asari, and the virtuosity of humans, the Turian military has formidable discipline. Officers and NCOs are lifers with years of field experience. Enlisted personnel are thoroughly trained and stay calm under fire. Turian units don't break. Even if their entire line collapses, they fall back in order, setting ambushes as they go. A popular saying holds: you will only see a Turian's back once he's dead. Boot camp begins on the 15th birthday. Soldiers receive a year of training before being assigned to a field unit. Officers train for even longer. Most serve until the age of 30, at which point they become part of the reserves. Even if they suffer injuries preventing frontline service, most do support work behind the lines. Biotics are uncommon. While admired for their exacting skills, biotics motives are not always fully trusted by the common soldier. Apparently that works with Turians as well. The Turians prefer to assign their biotics to a specialist teams called cabals. And I think that comes into play way later in the series, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Command and control is decentralized and flexible. Individual squads can call for artillery and air support. They make extensive use of combat drones for light duties and practice combined arms. Infantry operates with armor, supported by overhead gunships. Strategically, they are methodical and patient, and dislike risky operations. Tradition is important. Each legion has a full-time staff of historians who chronicle its battle honors in detail. The oldest have records dating back to the Turian Iron Age, which I'm guessing was a long time ago, considering they've been active in the Citadel for a long time. If a legion is destroyed in battle, it is reconstituted rather than replaced. The Turians recruit auxiliary units from conquered or absorbed minor races. Auxiliaries are generally light infantry or armored cavalry units that screen and support the main Turian formations. At the conclusion of their service in the auxiliaries, recruits are granted Turian citizenship. Well, that's nice of them. Keeps them, lets other races help them out if they were, interested in Turian military. I imagine that's led to quite a few anthropologists becoming Turian citizens if they can hack the military might of the Turians, the military service training.